If Nintendo had ventured into television broadcasting by acquiring Great Television, which owns numerous local TV stations across the U.S., the media landscape would likely have shifted in interesting ways. Here's a speculative look at how this could have played out in an alternate timeline. 1. Nintendo's expansion into mainstream media. By acquiring Great Television, Nintendo would instantly gain a foothold in traditional media, going beyond its entertainment and gaming roots. This could position Nintendo as a multimedia conglomerate with a focus on both gaming and TV broadcasting, potentially reshaping its brand image. Nintendo's TV network might promote its family-friendly values by integrating educational or kid-focused content. Nintendo would also gain a platform to promote its products and services directly to a wide audience through these stations, strengthening its marketing power. 2. Exclusive content and Nintendo-themed shows. Nintendo could use its TV stations to launch exclusive shows based on its popular franchises, like Mario, Zelda, and Pokémon. The copyright own. Similar to how Disney promotes its IP across its own networks, shows could range from animated series to live-action game shows and behind-the-scenes specials. Great television stations could have introduced Nintendo-exclusive blocks of programming, making the stations a go-to for young audiences. This might include game reviews, sports coverage, or even daily shows on upcoming game releases or Nintendo News. 3. Expansion of esports and gaming culture on TV. Nintendo could broadcast esports tournaments or create live broadcasts of Nintendo tournaments featuring games like Super Smash Bros. And Mario Kart, creating new viewing experiences. This would bring esports directly to cable and local stations, potentially introducing competitive gaming to a much broader audience. Nintendo might even sponsor special events or national competitions for its games, giving fans more ways to interact with the brand beyond consoles. 4. Increased advertising power for Nintendo. Owning a network of TV stations would allow Nintendo to control prime advertising slots. This could boost promotions for their new games, consoles, and merchandise. Nintendo might also negotiate cross-promotions with advertisers, creating special tie-ins with other family-focused brands to leverage shared audiences. 5. Potential risks and challenges. Nintendo would face regulatory hurdles and potentially lose focus on its gaming roots. Entering the broadcasting world requires heavy investment and experience in media, which Nintendo might lack. There's also the risk that the gaming audience might not engage as much with local news channels, and TV viewership is in decline overall. Nintendo could struggle to balance between news content and entertainment without alienating traditional viewers. 6. Synergy between gaming and local news. Nintendo could launch local news stories related to community gaming events, school gaming clubs, or even highlight local game developers, creating a unique blend of community-focused content and gaming culture. The stations could have special community-oriented content where local anchors highlight Nintendo's impact on education or family-friendly technology, especially in relation to learning through games. 7. Digital expansion and streaming services. As TV is shifting toward digital, Nintendo could use Great Television's infrastructure to explore its own streaming service or a hybrid online platform where Nintendo games and media converge. Nintendo might introduce an online platform similar to Hulu or Netflix, featuring its own original programming, news shows, and even a live broadcast of certain events, leveraging the broadcasting talent and resources of Great Television. In this alternate timeline, Nintendo's acquisition of Great Television could have potentially positioned it as a player in mainstream media while expanding its audience. However, such a move would require careful balancing to avoid diluting Nintendo's core identity as a gaming company. 4. In this alternate timeline where Nintendo owns Great Television, here's a brief list of some prominent local TV stations that would fall under Nintendo's ownership. 1. Fay Atlanta, Georgia, rebranded as Nintendo News Network Atlanta. KCTV5A Kansas City, Missouri, rebranded as Nintendo News Network Kansas City. KWQC-TVA Davenport, Iowa, rebranded as Nintendo News Network Quad Cities. WBTVA Charlotte, North Carolina, rebranded as Nintendo News Network Charlotte. WOUT-A Omaha, Nebraska, rebranded as Nintendo News Network Omaha. WMTVA Madison, Wisconsin rebranded as Nintendo News Network Madison WDTA New Orleans, Louisiana rebranded as Nintendo News Network New Orleans WTVGA Toledo, Ohio rebranded as Nintendo News Network Toledo KGNS TVA Laredo, Texas rebranded as Nintendo News Network South Texas Cold Day Tucson, Arizona rebranded as Nintendo News Network Tucson WBRC Birmingham rebranded as Nintendo News Network Birmingham WLBT Jackson is rebranded as Nintendo News Network Jackson WTVY Dathan rebranded as Nintendo News Network Wireglass KTVF Fairbanks rebranded as Nintendo News Network Fairbanks Gem Quincy rebranded as Nintendo News Network Quincy Whiteo Cleveland rebranded as Nintendo News Network Cleveland Fort Wayne rebranded as Nintendo News Network Fort Wayne WTPJ Roanoke rebranded as Nintendo News Network Roanoke Topeka rebranded as Nintendo News Network Topeka KWCH Wichita rebranded as Nintendo News Network Kansas. These stations would now serve as part of Nintendo's new multimedia venture, potentially featuring Nintendo-themed programming, sports coverage, and other family-friendly content integrated into local news and entertainment broadcasts. 4.